Hello everyone, and welcome to Noodle Journey, your destination for detailed and informative reviews of the instant noodle universe. And today I'm continuing on with the second of three products from the Han Kitchen with their Pocha Ramyun. Before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my in-depth reviews. Now, like I mentioned in the last video, Han Kitchen is an Australian brand owned by Asia that distributes these ramyun noodles manufactured in South Korea globally. They've started popping up on yamibuy.com and in stores like H Mart recently, and I was able to grab this one in a 4-pack for $5.99. And now I've filmed quite a few of these reviews, but it's still fun to find a term or recipe I've never seen before because I like learning about new things. And in this case, I've never seen the word Pocha, so I wasn't quite sure what this product was until I looked into it a little more. Now, according to Han Kitchen's website, they named this product Pocha as a derivation of the Korean word pojangmacha, hopefully I said that correctly, which is basically a tent or stall where you can get street food in South Korea. Now that's all well and good, but it kind of tells me jack shit about what this product is because it's not like they ground up a tent into fine powder and put it in a pack of noodles. So what this actually is a spicy red ramyun soup in the same vein as Nongshim Shin or Ottogi Jin, paldo namja, that kind of thing. Basically a red chili broth with mushrooms and vegetables. So I guess that means you can get this kind of soup frequently in a pojangmacha. If anyone who's traveled to South Korea or lives there wants to chime in on that, I'm all ears. Without further judgment on the product name, let's talk about the sodium count and the ingredients. Sodium count is 2,000 milligrams or 87% of your daily allowance. It is not quite as high as the gomtang variety was, but it is still pretty high, so watch out if that bothers you. Now inside the pack, we've got those same thick ramyun noodles made from wheat and potato with garlic and onion seasoning inside them, and then a powdered soup packet containing MSG, red pepper, black pepper, and shiitake mushroom powder alongside, your usual suspects like soy sauce and other extracts. And also there's a flake packet this time containing shiitake mushrooms, green onion, bok choy, soybeans, carrots, and red pepper. This is extremely similar to other stuff I've reviewed before, but hopefully executed well. Plus, I think this might actually be vegan if I read the ingredients correctly, but just double check first if that matters to you. So let's get cooking and find out how this is. All right, and here it is, the finished product. And if you're at all familiar with Nongshim Shin or Ottogi Jin or any of those other varieties in this same vein, you're going to notice that this looks remarkably similar to those. In fact, it smells remarkably similar to those, which is not a bad thing. I mean, I love those other two flavors. I eat Nongshim Shin all the time, mainly because it's easy to find. If this ends up being better, then this might be a solid replacement for it. Broth consistency looks a little bit darker and thicker than Nongshim, because I will be making the inevitable comparisons throughout the course of this review, probably. We've got some big chunks of mushroom, which is really nice. Lots of green onion. There's a little piece of soy protein that kind of looks like beef. Yeah, I'm dying to try this. Let's go for it. All right, starting with the noodles. Yeah, these are the same ones as in the gomtang from the last video. I gave them an 8 out of 10, and while Han Kitchen recommends cooking them at 4.5 minutes, I actually cooked them at 4 minutes this time just to see what would happen, and they came out a little firmer, of course, and I like them better this way. So, great noodles, nice chew, bouncy, tasty, everything I want out of a Korean noodle. These are an 8 out of 10. As far as spiciness goes, this is a fairly medium spice. It's actually very reminiscent of its competitors, Nongshim Shin, Ottogi Jin, etc. I gave those a 6 out of 10 for spiciness, and I think this is about the same. 6 out of 10 for spice. So let's talk about the flavor of the soup here, because this is not quite the Shin clone that you might think it is. It's a very similar flavor, first of all. So yes, you've got that kind of artificial beefy, chili pepper, salty, savory thing going on. However, this is a little more vegetable forward than that. I think the artificial beef flavor in this kind of takes a back seat to the vegetables, and I think that's a good thing. It makes this a somewhat more unique product. The mushroom flavor is much more noticeable in here than in other varieties. The pepper flavor in this is stronger than it is in other varieties as well. I actually really like the pepper flavor in this. It's got a good peppery kick, and I'm here for that. The flakes are also very good. These mushroom chunks are tasty and firm. They cooked up real well. These little bok choy stems in here have a lot of flavor in them, and I can't seem to find any of the carrots or soy protein, but the carrots are also tasty and well rehydrated, and the textured soy protein is very beef-like. Now, in order to score this, because I'm probably going to get some criticism for what I'm about to say, I have to bring up that I gave Nongshim Shin a 7 out of 10 in my very first video. And I still think that's about right. I've had better since then, but it is still good enough that I still eat it on the regular, mainly due to its availability and its flavor. But I think this is a little bit better. Yeah, and you know why? You know why this is better than Nongshim Shin? Even if it's just a little hair better? MSG. Yeah, this has MSG in it. Nongshim Shin does not have MSG in it. Nongshim has a pretty staunch no MSG policy. MSG makes things taste better. This tastes better. It's got a more umami flavor to it than Shin does. The consistency of the broth is a little more oily. And yeah, I just think between the pepper and the mushroom, this has a somewhat more interesting flavor than Nongshim Shin. Now, is it my perfect go-to? No. I think it could use a little more garlic in it. I like garlic in this type of soup. I think that while the flakes are very tasty, there's really not as many of them as I get in Nongshim or other brands. But the noodles are excellent, and the broth is flavorful, and what flakes there are rehydrated extremely well. And so I think this is worth a 7.5 out of 10 as an overall score. Really good stuff. All right, once again, a strong showing from Han Kitchen. Since it's so similar, I'm not going to say that you should go out of your way to find this if you've got a steady supply of Nongshim Shin or Ottogi Jin where you live. But if you happen to spot this, or you want to try a different version of the same recipe, I think you'll like this. It's just different enough that it's worth trying at least once. The noodles are thick and chunky, the broth is flavorful, the spice level is just right. And that little extra kick of MSG, in my opinion, elevates the flavor of this above what's manufactured here in America. And also, I've said this before, but just stop demonizing MSG. Now, I've got one more Korean Ramyun pack from Han Kitchen coming up in the next video, so please enable your notifications so you can check that out when it's released. And hopefully I will see you next time here on Noodle Journey.